Hello friends, welcome in or welcome back. I'm Hannah of Sincerely Hannah B. In today's video, I thought we would do something a little bit different, which is talk about my June favorites. I've seen so many people doing these like on Instagram and other videos on YouTube, and it just seemed like a lot of fun. So I thought it might be nice to do my own and we're gonna see how this goes. I've got like different products to talk about, some different media. Without any further ado, let's just get into it. Starting off with some product favorites. These are things that I either bought in June or I found myself picking up a bunch in June. First off, we're going to start with a perfume. And I actually got this in a sample from just a random Sephora order that I made. I normally don't tend to go for scents like this, but this one has felt perfect for how hot it has now been here in Chicago the last week or two. And that is the Replica Beach Walk scent by Maison Margiela. And I really like this. This is a very like coconut, wearing your sunscreen, hot and sticky day type scent. It is something that I feel like I only want to pick up when I'm going to be out, when it's like 80, 90 degrees, when I'm going to be out in the sun. And it feels really perfect to just capture that like essence of like that long vacation, that just tropical getaway. It's really enjoyable. I don't know if it's one that I'm actually going to want to like buy a larger bottle of. Yeah, it's just been really nice. I do want to try more Replica perfumes. They're a line that I always have really liked their stuff, and I liked their packaging and everything, but I've never really dove deep into any of their like scents. So that might be one of the next, whenever I get another like scent exploration discovery set type thing, I might look into Replica and see what they have available. But yeah, it's been really nice. I don't have that much left. It's probably going to run out before the summer's over, but enjoying using it while I have it. Another big purchase that I made, I have been putting off decorating my apartment for quite a while. I've moved to Chicago a few years ago, and when I moved here, I got rid of almost all of my furniture. I came with very little in terms of like big pieces, and I got rid of my rugs. I got rid of most of my decor. I just wanted to start fresh. A lot of the stuff that I had in my previous apartment was stuff that I had been keeping since I graduated from college, and that was a long time ago now. So I just wanted a fresh start, and I had been putting off getting rugs in particular because I couldn't find anything I liked. And the stuff that I really did like was super expensive. So finally, though, in June, I just decided to bite the bullet. I ended up getting this gorgeous rug from my living room from Lulu in Georgia. It's this beautiful plum color. It's got a very simple pattern, but the feel of it is so nice underfoot, and it looks really great against my floors. I have kind of like I have a natural wood floor, but it's got like kind of that rich color. And so the plum pops really nicely. It warms up the room, and I'm just in love with it. I can't recommend the Lulu and Georgia rugs enough. I really want to get another one for my bedroom. I don't know what it would look like. It's going to be a while before I do that, but really like the quality of the rug. I think I got in 5x8 size, which I could have probably gone bigger, but I didn't want to spend more money, and it would have been a little bit too big for the space, I think, in the end. So I'm happy with what I got, and definitely will be looking at them in the future for more purchases. Another silly small thing that I bought, I can't remember if I bought it at the end of May or the beginning of June, but it has been awesome to have, and I've been using it constantly in June. I'm using it now, is a new camera tripod. So as I'm filming this, I'm filming on my Sony, and I love this Sony camera. And when I got it, I was like, I need to get a tripod for it. So I did pick up just the standard tripod off of Amazon. I didn't spend a lot of money on it. It was like 13 bucks, I think, but it is great. I can get like super high with it. I can get super low. It allows for me to get a lot of different angles. It has made filming so much easier, and so much easier for me to be consistent with it, because I'm not having to like stack up a random pile of puzzles or books to like get my camera at the right height so that I can shoot like straight on. So it's been really nice to have. And again, like a really kind of basic purchase. There are much more fancier like tripods out there that I know I could get, but for right now, for what I do, this was working great. And it's got like metal clips and stuff. Like it's plastic in parts, but it's got metal in others, so it feels very sturdy. I'm not concerned about like my camera tipping over or anything like that when I'm filming. It's just been really great. In terms of fashion, I wish I was a more professional person. I feel like fashion is always going to be like the slow spot in these videos. I love looking at clothes and I love looking at like fashion and what other people are wearing, but I just don't feel like I have a very strong sense of style. But I do have a couple pieces that I picked up that I have been loving wearing. And the first is this cashmere tee that I bought from J. Crew on a whim. I was really wanting to get a few cashmere pieces to have because I go into the office and I was lacking tops that are really like office appropriate. With the being as hot as it is right now, I haven't been pulling it out. In fact, the last time I wore it, I think it was even too hot, but so it's due for a wash. But I love the feel of it. I've always been a fan of J. Crew. I've had a lot of their stuff from over the years. I like the overall quality of their clothing, but I haven't picked up a lot in the last like year or two from them, I would say. But this cashmere tee, it fits great. It's super comfortable. The color is great. I've really enjoyed wearing it. I would like to get more in like, I don't know if they have other colors of this top. I think they do. I would like to get a few more, but with it being cashmere, it is a little bit pricey, and cashmere has to be hand washed or dry cleaned. Hand washed is better for cashmere, but that is also like a very long process that I don't like taking the time to do. So we'll have to see. But for now, really happy wearing it. I feel like I will get a lot more aware of it once we get into the cooler autumn months. I think it'll look really nice with like a pair of jeans. It'll be really great to wear into my office. And because I bought some other cashmere tops that I will talk about in future videos, I also needed to get some like underlayers, because when you wear cashmere or you wear wool, when you wear that type of stuff where you need to do like hand washing or dry cleaning, it's always good to wear underlayers. It's good to wear underlayers under your stuff in general. And so I wanted to get some t-shirts that I could wear underneath. So I ended up picking up some of the Uniqlo Aerosim t-shirts. They're just like wide tees. They've got kind of a thicker neckline. They are super comfortable to wear. I've been actually just been wearing them out and about running errands and stuff because it's been so hot here. It kind of just gets soaked up by the shirt. It feels so good to wear them. I think I have like 4 or 5 just sitting in my drawer. And I only have them in white, just like a plain white tee. They just look great on their own too. Like I feel like with just a pair of denim shorts or jeans, but they also are really great to wear under my cashmere tops, to wear in the fall. I'll probably wear them under, like I have a lot of Cezanne wool cardigans and things. It'll be nice to wear them under there too. But really great purchase. If you're looking for a good basic underlayer, absolutely cannot recommend the Uniqlo Aerosim t-shirts enough. Aerosim? I don't know how to pronounce it. I want to say Airsim, and that's not right. That switches the S and the I. It's Airsim. Anyway, they'll be here in the corner. So other fashion purchase that I got, I needed a new pair of sunglasses. I've had the same pair of sunglasses for like, I kid you not, probably 7 or 8 years. I know I got them pre-COVID and I picked them up from like Anthropologie for like $30. They were a great pair of sunglasses. And then a few weeks ago they broke and beyond being fixed. So I need to get replacements. I've been scanning around looking at like Nordstrom and kind of my same old usual online spaces to get sunglasses. I don't like spending a lot of money on sunglasses because up until this last pair, I was notorious for losing them or breaking them. So like $50 is the absolute max I'm willing to spend on a pair of sunglasses. And even then that's a little bit on the higher end. But then obviously you're doing all these searches and things, your phone is always listening to you. I ended up getting an Instagram ad for this WMP eyewear brand. And I went looking through their stuff and I really liked a lot of their designs. So I ended up getting 2 pairs from them. The 2 pairs that I bought, the first one was the Vivian style in black. I love these. I feel like a little like vintage Hollywood starlet when I wear them. I feel so silly, but they're just very high glamour. I love the shape of them. I think they look really good on, and they're very like high fashion, elegant. The other pair I ended up getting were the Drew frames, and I got these in tortoise brown. Really love these as well. These are really good for summer. I feel like they're very lightweight. The thing about all of their frames is that they're very lightweight, but not in these are going to break way. They just feel like they're really nice to wear on your face. You don't have to deal with them sliding down your nose a bunch. They just work really, really well. And the third pair that I got, I will insert a clip of it. I don't know what frame they are. I don't love the blue lenses. I didn't get to choose. It was a mystery pair, but I do love the frame shapes. I've been wearing these when I'm like working out or running like the farmer's market or errands in the morning, just, random things like that. But I really am happy with the quality of them. The frames were not bad price-wise. I want to say it was like $38 to $48 per pair, which felt a little higher on the end of my budget, but having them in hand and the quality, it's really, really nice. This is not sponsored, obviously, but yeah, if you're looking for sunglasses, I would actually check them out. I'm like the stuff that I've gotten from them. We'll see. I can report back in a few months after I've used them, and we'll see how long they've lasted and if they've held up. But my initial impressions were that they look great on, and I'm really excited to wear them throughout this summer. Last product thing I want to talk about is kind of a silly one. It's not like a specific thing, but it's just I have been loving going to my farmer's market this summer. I am like the biggest farmer's market girl in my friend group. I'm always the one that's like, I have to go to the market. Who wants to come with me? I love getting fresh eggs. I love getting fresh produce. I love supporting my local farmers and giving back into the community. It's really important to me. And the food tastes great. If you guys like tomatoes and you haven't had fresh farmers market tomatoes, go eat them. You will never want to get supermarket tomatoes ever again. They're just so good. So I've been getting a lot of that. Our farmer's market is every Saturday morning. I always go out first thing. I like to get kind of my standard goods are eggs. I love butterhead lettuce, tomatoes, of course, cucumbers, potatoes, red onion. There's a lot of fruit there right now. You can get strawberries. Peaches are just now starting to get in season. So I'm really lucky that I have a really robust farmer's market to go to. So yeah, I love my farmer's market. Highly recommend checking out yours if you haven't. And I think even smaller communities, you can find like either that or maybe like community gardens, but like fresh produce, guys, it makes all the difference in the world when you're cooking, when you're eating. I love it so much. Moving into media, I'm going to start with books. I'm not going to talk too in depth about these because if you watched my video last week, I already did full reviews on all of these, but highlights of what I read in June include, first and foremost, The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. Really enjoyed this. Thought the writing was phenomenal. I think Sybil was a really interesting, compelling character to read about. I loved watching her kind of evolve over the course of the book, dealing with things about grief and letting go and guilt and, connecting with people different from you. There were just a lot of great touching moments to it, and I really enjoyed, just being in that book. I will absolutely read whatever it is Virginia Evans writes next. I think she has a great voice. Really excited to see what she does. So Correspondent, #1 book for the month, absolutely. Also really loved The Unselected Journals of M. Lyon. This is the first book in a series. I don't know how long this series is going to go, and I don't think the author has specified, but the first book is very short. It's only about 100 pages, and this is following M. Lyon, who is living in London in 1880s, and she's kind of a young woman. She's on the cusp of turning 21. She is moving into the house that she is set to inherit, but her cousin is living in. It's very kind of campy, kind of fun. I think the narrator, she is very witty, but the thing I like about it is that it's a true journal. It's not, bits and pieces. It's her daily journal. So some entries are only a paragraph or a sentence, and then some entries are this like random tangent about things that are only kind of, loosely connected to the main plot. I really enjoyed the writing. I have volume 2 on my shelf. Will absolutely be picking that up as soon as I can. The other book that I really loved in June was actually My Life in France by Julia Child and Alex Prudhomme. This is Julia Child's memoir talking about how she fell in love with cooking while living abroad in France and a few other places in Europe for shorter periods of time. She is just so funny. She has such an interesting outlook on life. And I said this in my other video, but it's so inspiring because if you don't know, Julia Child didn't start cooking seriously until she was 36. Her big cookbooks, her PBS show, all of that didn't come until she was in her late 30s. And I just found that to be so inspiring and really helps reframe, I think, for a lot of us who are feeling like we haven't achieved anything yet, you can still achieve things later in life. That's okay. Like you can be in your mid 30s or 40s or 50s and start figuring out what it is you love then. You don't have to have it figured out when you're 25. So I loved that about her. I think the writing is whip smart. I love how she talked about food and connecting with people. I just really, really enjoyed this far more than I thought I would. I didn't really know what I was going into with it, but really liked it, and it's really inspired me, like I said in my other video, to like use her cookbooks and try to cook more out of them. I also would be remiss, I will talk about this separately, but I did start a manga. I talked about this in my video too, but Veil, I loved this. It's beautiful. It's got these gorgeous little vignettes of just two people who meet by chance on the street and the connection that they are forming with each other. You have him who is a police officer and her who is a blind socialite. And it's just this lovely dynamic. I just wish they were longer. Like each one is only about 100 pages, but the vignettes are also very short. Some of them are only like a panel or two long. It's just so addicting and I want so much more from it just because I just love it. Like I think there's 7 volumes out right now. I have volumes 3 and 4 and I will be reading those as soon as possible, but it's just just so lovely. If you have never tried manga before, but you want to, and you kind of like a more literary experience, maybe not something that's very action packed or anything like that, I would highly recommend Veil. They're beautiful to look at. I think the characters are just lovely. And I just cannot wait to dive into more of this later on. Talking about things that I was watching, I didn't really watch a ton. I only watched a few movies, and I didn't watch any TV really in June. But for movies, the highlight was definitely Sinners. A friend of mine has been trying to get me to watch this for ever since it came out, really. And we sat down, we had a movie night. I understand the hype. I get it. I understand why people love it. It is a beautifully shot film. This is a horror movie. It is following a pair of twins who are going back home to their hometown, who they're opening like a speakeasy. It's really about racial tensions. I don't even want to say too much about it because I knew nothing really about the movie. Somehow I managed to avoid all the spoilers. I knew nothing going in, and I was surprised at every turn. I loved it so much. The acting is phenomenal. The directing is phenomenal. The cinematography is just stunning. Can't say enough good things about it. It is a horror movie. It is not my normal genre of choice, but I think it's a very palatable horror movie if you are like me and not a big fan of them. It's not like super overwhelming, but yeah, totally beautiful. Loved that. And the only other thing that I want to talk about is Arrested Development is one of my favorite TV shows ever. And I was visiting my parents at the end of the month, and I was like, you guys got to try this because I think you're going to find it hilarious. I introduced them to Schitt's Creek and they loved it. It was like we were watching episode after episode of Schitt's Creek together, which was so much fun. But Arrested Development, they had never tried. My mom was cackling through the first episode. She loved it. And even my dad, he has a very specific sense of humor, he found it a lot of fun. So introduce them to that. I hope they keep watching it without me. It made me want to go back and like rewatch more of the episodes because those first few seasons are just so funny. It might be the funniest TV show, in my opinion, that I've ever seen. It might be like top spot for me. Moving on to stuff I've been listening to, music and podcasts. I, like everybody else, have been listening to Olivia Rodrigo's new album, You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love. Love this album. It's great. I think the narrative kind of flow of how she ordered the songs are great. I think The Cure is still one of my favorites off the album, but I really like Stupid Song. The one she did with The Cure, like the band, also really great. Really loved it. Just has been on repeat. The other albums on repeat was an old favorite. Shouldn't say old. It came out at the end of last year, beginning of this year, which is Olivia Dean's album, The Art of Loving. Been having that on repeat as well. And of course, I have to mention Noah Kahan's The Great Divide. That is by far the album I've been listening to the most. It's when I looked at like my Receiptify or whatever, all it was just the Noah Kahan albums over and over and over again, specifically Doors. I love Doors. Doors is like the best song ever. I love that song on the album. So that's been the music vibes. I know there's a couple of bigger albums coming out at next month. Gracie Abrams has one coming out, which I'm kind of intrigued by. There's a few others that I can't think of at the moment, but we'll see. Maybe I can pry myself away from Noah Kahan long enough to try some new stuff out. Also been listening to podcasts again. Weirdly, I am trying to slowly wean myself off of Spotify. I know Spotify, they're bad people. I don't agree with a lot of the things they've been doing with like the advertising they're allowing and where their money investments go. So I am trying to move off Spotify. And one of the easy ways for me to do that was to get my podcast listening elsewhere. So I did switch over to Apple Podcasts. I'm trying that out. I would like to move elsewhere beyond Apple because I know Apple has their issues too, but it's been working really well. And I have two podcasts that I've been listening to pretty regularly now. The first is Milk Street Radio, which this is Christopher Kimball's Milk Street Radio. And this is just a weekly show talking about food and cooking. People can call in with questions about how they cook, how to do this thing, or what should I use for this, or how can I change this recipe? It's just really enjoyable episodes. They do deep dives on random things. One episode that they had that I listened to is talking about picnics and how picnics used to be this like whole big event, and are we losing the form? Like, should we have more formality again? Should we have fancy picnics? Is that something that we as a society should do to like give ourselves more of a like weight to the things that we do? Have we made everything too casual? I thought it was a very interesting discussion. I really like listening to them talk, and it's just inspired me to, cook more. The other one that I've been listening to is very different. That is Reveal. And this is a news podcast put on by the Center for Investigative Reporting. And each episode that they do is kind of a deep dive on a single news topic. Their 4th of July one, which was not for June, but their 4th of July topic was talking about the legacy of slavery in the US and why the US cannot just come to terms, or not come to terms, cannot reckon with the history of slavery and the consequences that slavery had and continues to have on our country. It was very fascinating, a really good interview. I really liked listening to it to start out the 4th of July. It really kind of helped to reframe my how I was kind of approaching the day, the holiday, because doesn't really feel like I was not excited to celebrate considering the state of things. But yeah, so Reveal is great. It's really important to support independent journalism. So definitely check them out. I think they do great work. They had a really great World Cup episode talking about the expenses of a World Cup and why has it gotten so expensive and all of that. Really well done. So I've been listening to those two pretty consistently. I have other podcasts I've been going to, but those are the two where it's like every time I see a new episode go up, I automatically listen no matter what it is about. So loving that. In terms of games, been playing kind of odd things here and there. But the two games that I've been playing a ton are one, Balatro. Balatro, if you're not familiar with it, it's like this like card kind of poker style game where you're just trying to like get chips. You use poker hands to score. You have all these different Joker cards that do different things. It's very, very fun. You can get it on your phone. They also have it on PC and Switch. I have it on my computer. I like to play it over breakfast. That's what I do instead of doom scrolling. It's just a fun way to spend like 10, 15 minutes doing a run or two. And yeah, really enjoy that. Also ended up buying Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream on my Switch, which I told myself I was never going to get. And then I saw a bunch of like Instagram reels about it, and I saw some other friends playing it, and I was like, you know what? I think I would really like this. And sure enough, I've been playing it every day, multiple times a day for like 20, 30 minutes at a time. And I like to check on my little Miis. They're all like running around. I just have a bunch of like random characters from like different media that I like and different people, just like random people I made up. It's a lot of fun. It's very silly. It's very cute. And it's also a really great game to like dip in and out of. Like you only have to play for 10, 15 minutes at a time. You don't have a lot you need to do. So I've been really, really enjoying that. I have some other games that I really want to get to in July. Like I need to clear up my backlog more. So I'm going to try to get into a few more narrative kind of focused games that have endings, because Balatro and Tomodachi Life don't have endings. They're just kind of, you can play them forever. So hopefully we'll have more to report on next month from my July favorites for gaming. Next section, and this is going to be a quick one, is just some experience highlights, things I did throughout the month. One of the things that I've been loving is going to spend my Sunday mornings, like early Sunday mornings. I'm talking like 7:30. I'm heading over to my local coffee shop to just get work done. I just like to have a cup of coffee, breakfast sandwich, and then that's when I just sit and I spend a couple hours just going through all of my to-dos, looking at my content calendar, and it's just nice to have like an hour or two of just quiet time. Also do a lot of reading for like Anna Karenina reading I do in the mornings. Then it's just so nice to like give myself a way to center my morning, and I'm usually home by like 9:30 or 10. Then I can do my chores and stuff. It's just been really great to just have that centering and really getting me focused for the week ahead. Also did a couple things. I ended up going to see the Bleachers at the start of June. Really great show. They performed at Salt Shed here in Chicago, which is an outdoor venue. I'll put in a couple clips. It was a great show. I had never seen Bleachers before. I'd always wanted to, but they were always sold out or I was out of town. So it was really great to be able to see them. They put on their show is so good live. And I believe they opened their tour in Chicago, which was also really cool. So had a lot of fun at that show. Also went out for drinks at this bar in Chicago called Meadowlark. It is this really cool space. They do a themed menu. And this, when I say it's a themed menu, it is a themed menu. They do custom book designs. Their drinks are very involved. They do a custom food menu. And these menus last for about a year at a time. The current theme is the flora and fauna of the Midwest, part 2. They did a part 1, I think a year or two back. And the drinks are just so good. It's a very small bar. There's only like maybe, I think, 6 or 7 tables total, and then a bar top, like the bar itself. Get your reservations there. If you're going, just get a reservation. You'll have like a 2-hour time slot, basically, if you have a group of 4. And it was just so nice. The menu was so good. I only had a couple cocktails. It was a something blueberry, underbrush blueberry, I think, and then wild bergamot. Both were delicious. They have really unique flavor profiles, things you might not see in other places. So if you're in Chicago and you haven't been to Meadowlark, highly recommend it. Their food menu is a little sparse, I will say. Like it's more like snacky type stuff. So if you're gonna go, make sure you have had something to eat beforehand because their food is great, but is not a lot. So you will leave hungry. And last experience was I ended up going on a trip up to visit my family in Minnesota. And when I go, I either fly or I will take the train. This time I took the train and I just love the Amtrak ride. It is so long. It is 7 hours, 7.5 hours, and that's assuming there's no like delays. It's a long day, but I also really like the peace of riding on the train for so long. I just have the time to just relax and chill out. So loved that. That was an experience that was really good. I mean, I had to buy the train ticket, obviously, but it was nice to just like have 7 hours to just like work and read. I got through, I think, basically two entire books on each leg of the train journey. Like it was really great. So I love Amtrak. If you have not ridden Amtrak before, definitely look into it. It's much cheaper than flying most of the time, depending on where you're going and how far out you buy your ticket. But I can take the train up to Minneapolis from Chicago for like $45 sometimes. So it's very, very affordable. If you haven't tried it, definitely give it a try. Last section I want to talk about was just like immaterial things, things that don't cost money, things that just don't buy into the very overconsumptive kind of society we live in. I think it's really important to have these types of things to just remind yourself that you can have a lot of fun, you can find a lot of joy, and it doesn't have to involve spending money. First up, biggest one, using my library. I have a library card with the Chicago Public Library. I have a really great public library. Chicago Public Library is one of the best in the country. They have a huge catalog. I can get physical books from them. I've been starting to get DVDs from them to watch different movies I want to try. I do ebooks, audiobooks. It's really great. I love using my library. And again, free. I can get all of the things that I want. I've been getting books for like series that I want to try. I've been getting the first books from the library. It's been super nice. Use your libraries. Even if you don't want to like check out books from the library, get yourself a library card, because the more people that have library cards, that shows the government funding groups that, hey, people are using this library, and that just gives them more money. So even if you don't have a library card, this is me telling you, go get a library card. Do it. Kind of tied into what I mentioned earlier, just like spending more time with friends, getting offline a little bit. I have really been loving kind of slowing down my mornings, spending time off my phone, just being more in touch with myself. I do my morning pages every morning, but I also have been really trying to limit my phone time. I am very much the type of person where as soon as I wake up, I pick up my cell phone and I'm already scrolling, and it's just not a way to start your morning. You like send yourself into a doom spiral because, you read bad headlines or you fall down some rabbit hole of whatever social media trend is currently going. And it just, next thing you know, you've been in bed for like 45 minutes and you haven't done anything. So I'm really trying to break that habit. And that has just been, involving me spending more time away from my phone, trying to find other ways to, engage and do different things. And so, especially my mornings, I've been trying really hard to do that. So I get up, I've been trying to stretch and do yoga and do all of that. I've been doing my morning pages. I've been trying to read in the mornings, and I feel like my mental health feels so much better rather than the mornings when I'm just sitting on my phone all the time. I've also been trying to just connect with people more, like see my friends more, get away, like get out and do things that isn't just, hey, let's go get a drink. Like, let's go to the park. Let's go to the farmer's market. Let's go like do things that don't involve us just like spending money. And it's just been really nice. And I want to do more of that as the summer continues on. I feel like it's just really important to get out there and like have in-person connection with people. I have to get myself offline more because I can feel my mental health struggling when I'm just too chronically online. And that's it. Those are all my favorites for June. Hope you enjoyed. Tell me about what you guys loved in June. If you have any recommendations or anything that you're really excited for in July, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a great July so far, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.